Welcome back, another review. So this time we're doing the Nova Resin Bond Diamond Carving Points. These are sold on, well, these ones in particular were sold on gemcuts.com.au. They were sold as a set of 4, so from 280, 600, 1200 and 3000 grits. These are a good range of grits to go from a rough piece all the way through to a bit of a polish. 3000 can get you a bit of a polish. I had a video where I used them and tried to go fairly in depth with them, and I showed how much of a polish you can get with just going up to the 3000, so it was pretty good. So I paid 77 bucks for these ones in particular. And if we look at the condition of them, they're all pretty good. They're at about the same. I've used them all about the same amount. I mean, this one probably gets the most usage, being the coarse grit, and I'm getting rid of a lot of the major scuff marks and cutting marks that are on the surface of the opal, as well as any little chips along the edges and whatnot. So it probably gets the heaviest use, probably followed by, I think this one I use probably the second most. It's the 1200 grit. And I use this a lot just because by the time you're finished with this one, you're kind of just buffing the stone. So any tiny little imperfections that I think I can get with this one, I will. And so I'll spend quite a bit of time on this one, and by the time you're finished with it, you do get a bit of a pre-polish going. And then this one I use a fair bit as well, just because it's the final one and you kind of run over every surface as much as possible until you get a nice, smooth, even polish. At which point I then transition across into a felt and cerium oxide method of polishing. And yeah, so that's the 3000. You can get Nova tips much higher than that, but for opal I get a good enough polish with this, and I just do a little bit of finishing off with cerium oxide just because I don't know, I just feel like doing it. Even though it's a bit of a mess, it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? So gets a little bit more of a mirror finish. This will give you a polish though. So 3000, this range will give you almost everything you need. Combo it with some diamond bits, kind of like this. And by the time you've carved it back, you've got a bit of a rough, then you go over here and you run through this gauntlet and they work out quite well. So these for 70 odd bucks, I think are pretty good value, seeing as I've used these quite a bit now, and they're almost, I mean, apart from the discoloration and the white powder and dust settling in the grooves, they have survived incredibly well. They haven't worn excessively, they really provide a really good finish. So I don't really have anything negative to say about these. When you compare them to my previous review on the beginner's carving set, and you compare them to these, it's just night and day. These are worth, all of these combined are not worth a single one of these. I don't think these will last anywhere near as long, and the finish and polish that you can get with them is just nothing compared to this. It's just chalk and cheese. So they aren't even in the same realm. And seeing as each one of these costs more than that entire set combined, it probably is reasonable to expect that they're as good as they are. But yeah, I'd say if you're past that beginner starting out stage, where you're just testing a few things, whether you like the idea of actually grinding and carving, or whether you actually like the doing of the grinding and carving, because they're two completely different things, these are, you just can't go past the Nova points. I think you've got to get a set of these. The minimum is that you get a set of these and you get a whole range of, if I can bring them into screen, a whole range of diamond bits. And yeah, I've got a little felt tip there as well. But yeah, if you can get a couple sets of diamond bits with different grits, maybe go from 80 through to 300 or so, or even 600, and then you've got a set of these as well, you're pretty much good to go. You're set to carve away. and not just opal, but at any stone I've seen so far. I don't see the Nova points being incompatible with any certain materials. So yeah, if you're interested, they're definitely worth getting if you've got the money. And I've tried a couple knockoffs and they're just not the same. If you're not getting the Nova points, you're getting a far inferior quality product, and it's just not going to give you the finish that you want, and the pieces won't last anywhere near as long as what these Nova tips are lasting. So yeah, something to keep in mind. I'll see you in the next one.